Another way for you to borrow content is to use a really great WordPress plugin. It's called Recommended Reading Google Reader Shared. And this plugin uses your Google Reader account and your WordPress blog to create posts that feature the content that you like the most, as well as your notes or personal commentary on the content. So you're able to borrow with a link and citation somebody else's work. And as we've talked about throughout Module 5, there's a neat built-in way to add your own personal commentary to the piece. So rather than keep talking about it, let me just show it to you. First, you of course need to grab the plugin and activate it, and you can get it from wordpress.org, or you can go to your own blog's dashboard and click Add New under the Plugins menu. From there, do a search for Google Reader Shared, and you should be able to find the plugin no problem and get it installed and activated. Once it's activated, you want to go over to the settings for it, and it's in Settings, Recommended Reading, and it'll look something like this. Now you'll need to give it your Google Reader ID, and if you click the little question mark, you get a tooltip that tells you where to get your Google Reader ID and plug it into this box. You can click Validate ID to confirm that you do in fact have the right number in there, or you can use your Google your Google username and password to have the plugin automatically look up your ID for you. Now in the display settings, this is going to change how the posts that this plugin creates for you will display. So before we talk about that, let's talk a little bit about how the plugin works with Google Reader. In your Google Reader, you can go to any of your posts, and let's take this one. And you can read the post and you can share it. You can share it with a note, email, etc., etc. So if you click share or share with note, but in particular because we're adding our own content, we want to be using share with note, you'll get a little pop-up box where you can add your own note. What this plugin will do then is it will take an excerpt of the post, and then it will take your actual note as well and put that together into one blog post. So that's the basics on how the plugin works. So let's go back over to the settings now and figure out how we want our settings to be filled out. So we'll click Detailed here so that we get all of the settings. And everything has a tooltip here so you can get instructions or clarification if you're not sure on something. So the number of posts will determine how many posts are actually going to be displayed every time this plugin posts for you. So if you've clicked to share with note on 20 things in Google Reader Shared items and the plugin is only going to display, say, 3 as it is here, then it will only display the last 3. Now obviously you don't want it to display 100 posts or something ridiculous like that. So set this to a number that you think is somewhat appropriate for the amount of items that you may find in your Google Reader that you want to share with people and how large of a post you want to appear on your site. Show post content will show an excerpt, and truncate will determine how long that excerpt is. So you can change this number if you want longer or shorter excerpts. Show date will will show the date that the item, I believe that it was published on. Yeah, the actual post that it is publishing, the date that it was published on, and then you can preface that to say published, or you can change that to something else. Show the blog source. We'll show the name of the blog or feed that it came from with a link, and of course we do want to use that. Do you want to open links in a new window? Do you want to add no follow? This is all default, and that's just fine. The read more link, it says if you would like a read more link back to your shared item page at Google, enter the text that you want to use. I don't want that because I don't really care if people can see, if people go to my Google Reader shared items. I really just want them on my blog, and I also don't want a link to the feed. Next, it has show notes, and of course you want your notes to show. That's where you're going to be able to add your own commentary to the items, and you can preface that with whatever text you'd like. Now down here, display on page or post shortcode. This is how you actually get these Google Reader shared items to appear in your blog, is you're going to use this shortcode, copy that, and paste it into your blog, into a post, to show the items from your Google Reader Shared Items feed. So there's a few settings on how you can get these images, or I'm sorry, how you can get these posts to display. So tags, images, HTML, those sorts of things, you can play around with the settings if you have anything that's showing up funny. I find that it usually will work just fine at the default, but if you are using a feed that maybe has a problem, you can, of course, play with those and see what it comes up with. Now, as of publish date, so this says, by default, the output, so what the plugin posts on your blog, will always be based on the latest shared items. So the latest 3 or the latest 5, whatever number you put in up top. This is ideal if you have a dedicated page for your shared items feed. However, if you will be regularly creating a post to highlight recent shared items, you will probably want to show the latest items from the date the post was published. Check this box to apply that logic. Note that this plugin caches the shared items for performance reasons. If you update your notes or the posts themselves are updated, you'll need to update the poster page with the shortcode to see the changes. Setting changes made here will automatically flush the cache. So this is a way to have multiple posts that you've been created, as it said. If you're regularly creating a post to highlight recent shared items, you want to show the latest items from that date, correct? So you will most likely use this option. And then up to the last post says, if you regularly share your items in a post, you may want to automatically show all shared items since the last post to use recreational reading, the shortcode that they have here. Check this option to show all shared items up until the publish date of the last post that has the rec reading shortcode. So this then would show posts. If I do this every Monday, this option would show a post from last Tuesday up through the following Monday. And then the next post would be that Monday up until the next one. Check this option to show, note that this will always override a specified number of posts. So if you put in 20 shared items, but you only have 5 in the showing thing up above, it will still show 20 because that overrides that. Note that this option disables the read more link, even if set above, with the exception of the very first post to use the shortcode. Okay, so we will also check that because that's the best way to make this plugin work if you're using this as a regular feature, like I said, say once every week or something like that. You can also, like they said, just type in rec reading and dedicate an entire page to your blog on that, but I don't think that that will get... It's not going to get as much attention from your readers simply because it's not going to show up in their feeds. It's not going to be a new post. So I recommend making individual posts for this on a regular basis. When you're done with your settings, go ahead and click Save Changes. So now we need to check out our Google Reader and actually share an item with a note. So let's share this post from Alejandro Reyes. And he says, is generosity killing your business? I know some folks that are more focused on how much money they're going to make on the launch of their product versus the impact on their life of the customer. All right, so let's share with note, and then you add your own thoughts to this. Okay, so I've added my own note. Check add to shared items, and then post item. Boom. It's going to add it to my Google Reader shared items, so now I have a recent item there. Now we need to create a post with the plugin shortcode so that we can see how that works. So if we go back over to our settings, we can copy the shortcode here. So we'll put rec reading, and we'll go to add a new post on the site. We'll paste that shortcode in here, and then we'll put you can, of course, title this anything that you like. And then we will save the draft and preview the post. Here it is, and you can check out the formatting. We've got Alejandro's post, Is Generosity Killing Your Business, with a link to it. It has the date published. It has the source where the original blog that it appeared on, and then my note, and this is the things, what I just wrote about it in my Google Reader shared items. And then here is the actual excerpt of the post from Alejandra's blog. So as you can see, you can mess around with the formatting a little bit to make it come out a little bit cleaner. If you don't like some of the ways that like the source in my note come out, you can change those about to sort of match your own site's CSS. But overall, this is a super easy way to add content to your site. And while it's a bit more curation than actual full-on borrowed content, I thought that you'd really want to know about how easy it can be to get this kind of stuff published on your blog. Since you're feeding this information into your blog directly from Google Reader by just hitting the Google Reader shared items, it's a super easy way to add borrowed content into your overall content strategy, and even, like we said, making it a regular feature that's published once a week or something like that, so that you can share all of this really great stuff that you're finding in your Google Reader with your audience and including your own thoughts.